What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen? If you're like me, you probably think of something pretty ordinary. Maybe it has a bug that looks like a tiny alien or a cloud that resembles a long-lost friend. But what if I told you there is a strange tale so puzzling that it baffles some of the world's leading code breakers? Well, get ready to dive into the mystery that has intrigued experts for decades. It all started during the Second World War when communication was everything. And I mean everything. In fact, that's where we'll start our story. Because back then, winning battles often depended on who could send secret messages first and keep them safe from prying eyes. You see, both sides were sending out tons of info about troop movements and battle plans, and they wanted to make sure only the intended recipients got the intel. That's why they turned to cryptography, the art of keeping secrets safe and invisible. Secret languages, and even crazy machines that would scramble your message into a jumbled mess. They called it encryption. And believe it or not, the Germans came up with one of the best encryption machines out there, the Enigma. It was like a typewriter that scrambled your letters using a bunch of rotating wheels and gears. It made millions of possible code combinations every day. And if you didn't know the secret settings, it looked like random gibberish. The British called it unbreakable. But here's where the story takes a twist. On June 13, 1942, something remarkable happened in a top-secret British facility. The team, led by the brilliant mathematician Alan Turing, managed to crack the seemingly unbreakable Enigma code. This achievement wasn't just a one-time thing. It was the start of a secret collaboration that lasted until the end of the war. It helped the Allies read many German messages, and it also saved countless lives. So let's meet the quiet heroes who made all this happen. In the summer of 1939, as the threat of war loomed large, the British government took a drastic step. They set up a secret unit in the coastal town of Bletchley Park, tasked with breaking enemy codes. It was a hush-hush operation, something people were sworn to secrecy about. Leading this unit was a man named Hugh Alexander. His team, a mix of math whizzes, crossword puzzle enthusiasts, and retired civil servants, were given one heck of a challenge: crack the German Enigma code. Back then, the odds were stacked against them, but they had a secret weapon, the brain of the team, Alan Turing. You might have heard about him before. He was a genius mathematician and a pioneer in computer science. But during the war, he was known simply as Commander Turing. Now, when the team first started their work, they had no clue how to tackle the Enigma machine. It was like trying to decode a message from outer space. So Turing did what any smart person would do. He turned the problem upside down and asked, how would someone figure out what we're doing here? This shift in perspective was their eureka moment. He realized that instead of trying to guess the code, they could use the Enigma machine itself to find the solution. With this new idea in hand, Turing and his team dived deep into designing a machine that could break the Enigma code. They called it the bomb. Now, don't let the name fool you. This wasn't some fancy gadget with lots of buttons and flashing lights. In fact, it looked like a bunch of typewriters connected to some basic electronics. But under the hood, it was a game changer. See, the bomb will work by imitating the Enigma machine, feeding it with potential solutions and checking them against intercepted messages. But here's the kicker. While the Enigma machine took hours to run through its code combinations, the bomb did it in a matter of minutes. Suddenly, what was thought to be an insoluble puzzle became a solvable problem. Alright, so you're probably wondering what all this means. Well, getting a machine to test code combinations faster than the Enigma can run is like having a turbo boost in a race. Once the bomb was up and running, it provided the team with daily lists of possible Enigma settings. These weren't the final answers, but they were the starting point for cracking the code. From there, it was a matter of putting the pieces together. And believe me, it was a lot easier than it sounds. So let's see why. Imagine you've got a lockbox with a combination lock. You don't know the code, but you hear the previous owner enter it. With every try, The lock gives you clues, telling you which digits you got right and whether you're close to the actual code. That's kind of how Turing and his crew operated. They listened to the Enigma machine, so to speak, by intercepting German transmissions. When they heard that a letter was encrypted correctly, they knew they were on the right track. And when they saw that a letter was off, they adjusted the settings of their bomb machine until they got it right. It was a slow process, but it was a lot easier than guessing the code outright. But here's the secret sauce that made it all possible. Each time they decoded a message, they didn't just record the info. They also noted down the Enigma settings. Why? Because these settings were like the diary of a spy. They showed what codes the Germans used and when they changed them. Over time, they started to spot patterns in these changes, realizing that the Germans often used the same settings for similar messages. For example, they noticed that if a message was about submarine activity, it probably used a specific setting. This trickery made things harder, but it also gave the Allies an advantage. You see, the Germans thought they were being clever by changing the settings regularly, but the Allies turned it around and used these changes to their advantage. It was like playing a game of chess, each side trying to outsmart the other. And in the end, it was the Allies who won the match. But wait, there's more. The bombs didn't just crack the Enigma code. They also found weaknesses in it. Enigma was great at keeping messages safe, but it couldn't tell you how long a message was. This gave the code breakers a clue. They knew that a short message was likely to be a code and that helped them figure out what the code was. Plus, Enigma had a habit of repeating itself after a while, which gave the code breakers another hint. They could listen carefully, and if they heard a letter twice, they knew they were onto something. Now, you're probably thinking, what's the big deal? A repeat offender? Well, here's the thing. Enigma was designed to be random, so hearing a letter twice was like spotting a rare bird in the wild. It was unusual, and it helped the Allies spot the code. But here's the real kicker. The German Enigma machines weren't all the same. Some had features that made them even more secure, like a double rotor setup. But the bombs were smarter than that. They were programmed to handle different types of Enigma machines, so they could tackle various challenges. So now you know how Turing and his team cracked the Enigma code. But let me tell you a little secret. There was something odd about their success. One detail kept bothering the historians, and it wasn't about the code breaking. It was about the secrecy surrounding it. As the war went on, the Allies continued to read German messages. That's why historians say their work may have shortened the war by 2 years, saving millions of lives. But here's the thing. Their victory over Enigma was a closely guarded secret. Even after the war ended, not many people knew about it, not the public, not even most of the military. It was only in the 1970s that the truth started to come out. Can you imagine a world without computers or the internet? Without Turing? That might have been our reality. Now, why was this secret kept for so long? Well, the main reason was to keep the Germans in the dark. If the Germans had known the Enigma was cracked, they might have changed their ways of communicating. Plus, it was a bit of a political thing. The US and UK wanted to keep their edge over other countries, especially the Soviets. They didn't want the Soviets to know how they cracked the Enigma, so they kept it under wraps. But here's the funny part. The secrecy didn't work all that well. The Germans never figured out that the Allies were reading their messages. Instead, they blamed faulty equipment or just bad luck. Poor guys. And while we're talking about secrets, let's spill another little secret. Do you ever wonder how I stumble upon these amazing stories? Well, it's because I have a team of awesome researchers digging through history books, newspaper archives, and old documents. They're like detectives of the past, hunting for hidden gems that most people miss. And once they find these hidden treasures, they polish them up to make them shine online. It's like turning old dusty artifacts into sparkling digital jewels. Hey, if you've enjoyed this journey through time, why not join us for more adventures? Hit that subscribe button and get ready for more exciting tales from history's hidden corners. And if you want to be part of the action, You can follow us on social media for sneak peeks, behind the scenes fun, and a chance to chat with us directly.